Nothing personal. In taking what other people say and do personally, we oftentimes feel diminished and exhausted by giving negativity a place to fester and grow within us. Each and every one of us just want to be accepted, loved, valued, and liked. And many of us are walking around wondering if we're good enough. And many times, when people are not doing well or acting well or speaking well with us, we do oftentimes let their actions and words into our heart, personalizing it, creating self-doubt, and oftentimes we take things personally. We've all been there, on the receiving end of a frustrated friend, coworker, or family member, cut off in traffic, ignored or overlooked by staff at a restaurant, judged, treated harshly, or unfairly by people that could be close or also strangers and mere acquaintances. Sometimes the way somebody looks at you, speaks, or behaves gets internalized and personalized. Such encounters can impact us negatively, especially when we take them personally, and oftentimes many of us do. An unpleasant exchange of words or thoughtless encounter can leave us feeling diminished, less than, and disrespected. We often personalize these hurts and then carry them around with us. When we do, they lower our moods, our energy, and leave us feeling depleted, full of self-doubt, and defeated. When we take things personally, we also start believing another version of ourselves. As I mentioned before in some of my talks, we're born in high self-esteem, seeing ourselves in a good place of high value. But then over time, we start holding on to what people say, comparisons, or actions. And some of these unkind words and actions we personally take to heart. And then we hold on to them like they're truth, when they're really cognitive distortions, distorted ways of seeing reality. Reality is, many times we start agreeing with people's negative comments, hold on to them, and then we start feeling insignificant, not good enough, and hard on ourselves. We're drawn in by people's attitudes, words, and responses and actions, when many times we start thinking that their words and actions are about us. We assume that their actions and words are really about us. But the fact is that when people say and do things to us, it has little to do with us and everything to do with them. People in pain. That's it. That's the answer. When people say and do hurtful things, they're in low self-esteem, and oftentimes the most hurtful comments and actions are coming from a person in a place of pain. It has nothing to do with you. People show you who they are, where they're at. When people are in pain, they spill out onto others. When we understand this, then we can take a step back from a challenging interaction and free ourselves from the hurt. Whether the hurt was intentional or unintentional, it doesn't matter. But we can keep in perspective that we don't have to carry the emotional debris of this incident and think that it's true about us. Many times people go through hardships, struggles, have a tough day, are feeling depleted about themselves, not sleeping well, not eating well, not taking care of themselves. And when we're not in a place of health and well-being, we just spill over onto others in pain and suffering. And so many times when we come across that driver who's enraged, or a person who's too competitive and critical, or a boss that's dismissing you, or an ill-tempered, frantic, anxious, and upset person, oftentimes you got to look beyond their behaviors and words and realize, wow, this person might be in a lot of pain spilling over onto others right now. You can pause and reflect, take a step back from whatever's going on. Doesn't mean you don't have to set boundaries, but you can pause and reflect, take a step back, and instead of personalizing what is being said or done to you, you can recognize this person's in pain, is hurting themselves, and they're spilling over onto others. Harsh words or treatment that is ill, that you receive from other people have nothing to do with you. Their pain and suffering is not yours to take on or take in. Taking on the unwarranted burden of negative moods, thoughts, opinions, and deeds of other people means that you're taking on people's opinions and low self-esteem and making it a part of your own burden, making it have a place in your own heart and body. The burden of their anger, fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem is really not yours to carry. We can choose to be different. We can pause and reflect, and we can take a step back from people's negativity, fear, envy, and anger. And instead of allowing their self-esteem to impact us and drain our energies, don't defend yourself. Set some healthy boundaries, take a pause and reflect, step back, and instead of engaging with fighting words or actions and being disrespectful, flip the script and change the way we react and interact. I'm sure at times in your life you have been able to do this already. It may be hard to believe, but you can depersonalize instead of take things on and personalize them. Many times, oftentimes, we diminish our own power by feeling like people are in charge of us. You need to pause and remind yourself that you are in charge of your emotions and that other people's opinion or actions are more about their mood, their bad day, or their state of mind, not accurately about you. Notice how different you feel, how much lighter and freer you are, and less burdened when you start to see people and negativity more about them than about you. We don't have to personalize what's not ours. You can become immune to people's negativity. You can see for yourself how powerful you are by depersonalizing the words and actions of others. Learning to have compassion for people who are walking around depleted in the world is another way to feel empowered. You don't have to react back in negativity. You can take a step back and have compassion for people who are having interactions and exchanges that are negative with you. You can still set boundaries and limits and speak up about how somebody does not, is not entitled to behave a certain way with you. But you do not have to personalize the words as they're true about you. Becoming immune to taking things personally frees us from needless pain and suffering and prevents us from having emotional debris where we oftentimes replay negative encounters over and over, wondering what's wrong with us or what we've done wrong. Remove the self-doubt. Trust yourself to know that we do the best we can with what we have, and that if somebody is acting in pain and spilling over onto you, you don't have to see it as something to do with you. You can pause and reflect and be like, this might be about them. Trust yourself. Learn to realize that we are here to be our highest, best version of ourselves. If you're eating well, exercising, taking care of yourself at a calm place in your mind and body, many times you can recognize people's reactions are about them. They're depleted. They're not in a good place. They're personalizing things, or they're reactive because they're rushing around in the world. We only can respond when we take care of ourselves. Taking nothing personally is about taking care of ourselves. In doing so, you can act mindfully and you can have compassion and kindness for others and compassion for yourself who's being, unintentionally spilled over onto. Let's pause and reflect for a moment right now and just allow yourself to reflect on what we talked about right now. Have you been taking a lot of things personally? Are you feeling bogged down by people's opinion of you? Are you seeking validation? And when somebody looks at you the wrong way or speaks to you the wrong way or criticizes, you really take it harshly? If so, let's pause and reflect to maybe notice, people show me who they are, not who I am. Let's take a mindful moment right now. Take an inhale in and breathe out. Another deep inhale in and exhale. And allow your breathing go normal pace. and reflect on the points of taking things personally. Do you? Or are you being better with yourself to rest and be equipped to turn into Teflon and let things slide off you instead of personalizing it? If your mind wanders away, gently bring it back to your breath and continue with the reflection of not taking things personally. Bringing yourself gently back. Remember the 5 points about flipping the script. 5 steps to depersonalizing the words and actions of others. Remind yourself that people in pain spill over onto others, and that you don't have to take on their pain, and you don't have to defend yourself either. Realize that what other people say and how they treat you is more about them, not you. People show you who they are, not who you are. Reconsider the source of negative comments or actions. Is that person revealing their envy, anger, stress, or fear, rather than showing you something painful about yourself? Remember that you are not required to carry the burden of unkind words or deeds of others. Leave them where they belong, at the source. Respect yourself enough to trust your judgment and let go of negative opinions of yourself. Be kind to you, and also you don't have to judge others. Set yourself free of judging others and judging yourself, and just be in a place of compassion when people treat you poorly, and also have compassion for the people in such low self-esteem and negativity that they're spilling over onto others.